They say that ULEZ does not operate on Christmas Day and Boxing Day. So does the pollution suddenly vanish because people aren't being charged on those 2 days? Where does the money go for ULEZ? Where does it go? No matter your financial status, you have to believe that what Sadiq Khan is planning to do is wrong. Do you guys remember the LTNs in 2020? I mean, there are still some in inner London. These LTNs had nothing to do with air pollution or COVID. Where are they now in Harrow and Hillingdon? Gone. They were just a nuisance. Even these cycle lanes placed on the sides of roads is just a nuisance to boroughs like Camden, Waltham Forest, and Enfield, as well as extra road closures. We are already far gone to even be taking the slightest action or anything got to do with climate change or the so-called pollution issue. If they wanted to take action, this would have been in place 25 to 30 years ago, like in 1995. If pollution was such a big issue as well, ULEZ would have been introduced to Greater London all at once, guys. Like, where is the evidence that ULEZ has improved things? Like, Rishi Sunak is against ULEZ. The British Prime Minister can literally stop him. He has more authority than Sadiq.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As my right honourable friend will know, the Mayor of London, despite objections, has decided to expand the ULEZ zone across all London boroughs, which will massively impact my constituents and those who share a border with London. Will he therefore urgently speak to the Transport Secretary and encourage him to use the powers at his disposal to reverse this disastrous decision?
My honourable friend will know that transport in London is devolved to the Labour Mayor of London, but it is disappointing that the Mayor, backed by the Leader of the Opposition, is choosing not to listen to the public. The zone is being expanded against the overwhelming views of residents and businesses, and I'd urgently consider the Mayor and the gentleman opposite to be on the side of hard-working Londoners.
I have pretty much summarized why ULEZ should not happen. Now let's go on to why the current proposed Superloop plan should not go ahead. The Superloop service is a circular bus service that would help people get around London quickly and more efficiently, to basically compensate for those who can't afford to drive around outer London. The route would have 10 services. Sadiq Khan says, the proposed Superloop will be a game-changer for travel around outer London, delivering quicker links to transport hubs, town centres, schools and hospitals. What does not make sense about this scheme are the 3 radial bus routes that are put in place: 607, SL4, X68. This is because these 3 routes do not go around but go inside. The Superloop is set to gradually begin between 2024 and 2025 and would be complete when the Silvertown Tunnel is opened to allow SL4 to begin. ULEZ is set to begin in August 2023. But what about between now and April 2024? Does North and South East London get the help of Superloop to travel in between places? No, they are stuck with ULEZ and have no access to Superloop, which is pointless because I thought Superloop is meant to be there before the ULEZ scheme, which makes no sense. For example, why can't Superloop be introduced all at once as well as the ULEZ scheme? Isn't that what it's called? This looks like super broke. TfL have withdrawn many routes in central London such as the 332, 168 and the 271 to make so-called budget cuts, which is weird because if you are withdrawing routes to make budget cuts, then why are you introducing Superloop routes in the first place? I thought TfL was in a crisis. It's like they purposely remove the good routes and bring in the bad and unnecessary ones. Like, even bus fares have increased from £1.50 to £1.75. I'm not against all bus changes, like even the change of 140, X140, and 140, 266, and 266, 218, 278 and others are amazing. Like even as you can see with the Superloop service, the buses are stuck with the same vehicle and allocation and they cannot really use a variety of buses like SL8 just uses MCV Avazity B5LHs, SL6 just uses Enviro 400 MMC and SL7 just uses Gemini 2B9TLs. As I have stated earlier, getting into central London is the main issue, not around. Harrow bus station stands are already full, so bringing another route would cause even more problems. The renumbering of legendary routes is useless and it's just only going to cost TfL a lot more money anyways. Superloop is not going to do anything, it's practically useless, there is no demand for Superloop. There is not a need for it. Like for example, how am I gonna get from Royal Docks to Bexley Heath? You may think I'm a full-on hater, but let me try to understand as to why Superloop should be in place and my honest opinions as to why Superloop may come into place. In my opinion, if they want to go ahead with this scheme and plan, they can keep the numbers as they are. The only remuneration change that should really happen is the renumbering of 607 to X207 and call these express services and leave these alone. Why can't they keep the round numbers as they were proposed like X34, X119, X123, X183 and X269? And keep X26, X68 and X140 by only renumbering 607 to X207. The renumbering process is going to also cost TfL a lot of money. Also, TfL wants to make all buses fully refurbished to red. For example, the Metro Line blue skirts were really cool, as well as Go-Ahead's black and yellow skirts as well, mainly seen on B70Ls and Plaxton Presidents. But they want to waste money on the Superloop branding white and red? If you are to take a full-on in-depth look at this map, nothing connects North and Central London, or Central or East London. Like in X205 or something could help get you from like Paddington to Stratford or Bow or something. Or from Northwest London to Central London, Northeast London to Central London, Southwest London to Central London as well. Were all these questions above not addressed in the boardroom, or was this mad idea dedicated by the one and only Sadiq Khan? I have far more useful and proposed bus routes that I would implement if I was a transport officer. Nearly all of these routes have been sent to TfL multiple times. I would create an express service called the X18. A merger of the 18 and 182 bus services, that would run limited stop from Harrow Weald Bus Garage to Royal Oak Station, H16 to Stonebridge Park, a service that would pass from South Harrow, 239, to help connect the regeneration section of Wealdstone Poets Corner via Queensbury and Colindale to Mill Hill East, and 310, to connect Harrow, Hatch End, Carpenter's Park, Bushy and Elstree and Borehamwood to create a TfL link that would connect services 142 and 258 to 107 and 292. But when I send these to TfL, they don't tend to follow it up. I know that the scheme has already begun, but at the same time, this is my point of view as to why this scheme shouldn't have even been put in place at all, as well as the proposed Superloop bus scheme and its renumberings. I refuse to take these matters towards TfL directly because I know that I will not be heard and that they would probably not reply to me, so this is why I am taking this to YouTube. I'm speaking for those who do not have a voice in society, and I am going to be that voice. I hope you take everything I said and everything into consideration. J Transport Buses 2023